down. Boat's drifting back a bit. So, grab the rope. And I'll just pull it forwards. Thankfully. Whew. Wow. That was a bit of an effort. It's not going to go out sideways, so that's okay. So while I was doing that, the boat drifted back. Now I've got it forward again. Now I've got to take the momentum off it and slow it down. Whatever momentum you give these things, it's a right pain to take it off. Right. Okay. Well, you know, maybe all I needed on that first failed attempt a few days ago, whenever it was, in the high winds, maybe I just needed some more moral fibre, you know, and a bit more of a ballsy approach. And apologies for all the sort of testicular references here. It's not generally my thing, to be honest. I'm not a fan of it. It must be all this manual labour bringing out, you know, the savage in me. So that cleat hitch twice, tighten it up, waggle it round, take all the slack off, and then 3 or 4 loops. 3, 4, 1 for good measure. And all being well, that should last a while. Good afternoon, sir. Yeah, now I am. But what happens, always happens, is the fabric gets stuck. Oh, fucking hell. Sorry. Oh, sorry for the swearing. The fabric flaps always go into the hole, and what should be an easy job, I mean, all I've got to do is pull the fabric flaps out, but they're kind of elastic and they keep coming back in. You'd think I'd run a marathon, wouldn't you? Instead of cruised 500 yards and moored a boat. It really is quite pathetic. But anyway, we're only half done, yes. Let's see what horrors await at the stern end. Right. Now, what Richard said when I explained to him my mooring difficulties last week with pins and not using them very often, well, for years, he said, try a few different places. Sometimes there'll be stone, and sometimes you'll find a gap, he said. But then Richard said many things, and I'm not at all sure. Right, we will see. Let's get the stern rope off. Hiya. I know I definitely don't cut a very salubrious video like this shirt that's overdue for a wash in these dreadful, dreadful trousers. But I have to say, some of the looks I get in the posher areas are, I feel, out of all proportion to how sort of dangerous I look, or how, I don't know, unkempt. But anyway, I think that is a good spot, so I'm going to go for the old 45 degrees. And it's hit solid stone. That's not going in. Try next to it. Yeah, okay. Afternoon, guys. I'll probably be dead by then, I think, so. Right. So, this is a bit mundane, really, but I've just moored up, well, 20 minutes ago. Done a marvellous job on the pins, well, I hope. Never speak too soon, of course, when the amateurs are around. So I've moored up, and I'm just going to do this thing I do, definitely in the summer, sometimes in the winter, which is I use these things to cut the bushes and the grass so that there are no fronds, stems, leaves, whatever it is. I'm not a naturalist, but nothing that an insect can use to crawl onto the boat. And I go right the way along, all 50 feet, and do this. And you know, I think there are many boaters who would laugh their socks off, frankly, at this sort of wanton cowardice, you know, this over-the-top nonsense to stop a few creepy crawlies. But, you know, once you've had a bit of an infestation of earwigs, and I've seen the odd one on the shore as well, you know, since then, it focuses the mind, I can tell you. I don't mind spiders, you know, those fellas, they're excellent, you know, they contribute, they pull the weight, and they don't bother me. But the other things, there was already something, actually. That's why I swirled it round. There we go. Oh yeah. There was already something creeping around on the leaves down there. I don't know what it was. So, I've just already interrupted a couple of insects that were in the process, potentially, of boarding the craft. So I've repelled boarders, really. Bit of a bloody pain in the arse, this. I've got one, and I saw that nice guy from Well Deck Diaries started using an electric one. I actually went to the trouble of buying one, and I've stored it away somewhere, and I can't remember where I put the bloody thing, so I'm back to using shears. But I quite like the shears. You sort of see exactly what you're doing, and it's not like it's hard, you know, it's only sort of grass and stuff, so it's easy to do. But this 10-minute job, I feel, goes a long way towards stopping unwanted insects from making an entrance, and that is very much worth doing. Now, I've got a section here where I'm flat against the bank, so I've got to make a call here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my fender there. I'm going to see if I can squeeze the fender in and hold the boat further away. I don't like the boat being so close in to the bank, and the problem I've got is the rope is quite tight either end, so I don't know if there's enough play. Probably isn't. No, there's not enough play for me to squeeze this in. Down there, there's a gap there, but there isn't a gap where I want it. I'm hard up against this section. Right, that's done something. Okay, that might have done something. Do you know, I'm thinking now, I need 3 of these things. I've got 2 fenders, but I'm just not happy with that much direct contact with the boat. It's you know, it spells trouble, frankly. So let's see how much I can get rid of. Probably the answer is very little. It's basically a solid connection between the boat and the bank. It's almost like just a solid bank, so the insects can just crawl, and that's not good. We don't want that. And there's also a solid bank further up as well. And as I say, don't mind the spiders. It's more ants can cause you an issue, and also earwigs. Look, hard up against the bank there. So, not sure what to do here. Okay, what I'm going to do, the back end's easier to tie, so I'm going to loosen the back end, and I'm going to see if I can reposition the fenders to give me some space. Well, this has turned out to be a slightly more hassle than I thought, but you know, it's worth it. So, I'm going to undo the rope here, or at least loosen the rope, introduce some slack. Okay. Okay, so slacken that off. Let's see if I can reposition these fenders to provide some level, higher level protection. The back ends, I could move that fender to the back, but this is, get this one out, because this is solid here as well. Look, I want to get a fender in between there, and I don't know if it's doable with the current length. Here we go. Beautiful, beautiful. That's done it. That's done it. See, a little bit of breathing space. Back end, and here I've got a problem here. Let's see what I can do. This is not solid bank. I can get rid of this. Do you know, there is a question in my mind how worthwhile this is, because it is only for 2 or 3 days at most until I get that bike. And I think, strictly speaking, you're meant to move every day on this canal, but I don't think people do in reality. Job of the insect prevention system. Final job is to coat the ropes with this powder. Non-toxic. It's actually ingestible without any ill effects by human beings. But it's brilliant stuff. I found out about it on a American RV Living channel. Just a mention in passing. And it's called diatomaceous earth. Diatomaceous earth, clues in the name. It is made from sand and dust, which is largely composed of the fossils of ancient diatoms, you know, millions of years ago. And these fossilised diatoms form spiky, absolutely microscopic, tiny spikes, and the powder forms a surface that insects cannot walk on without injury and death. So it pierces their exoskeleton. And I know that sounds brutal, but I've got to be honest, I'm all for it, especially if it's bloody earwigs. So I've got this diatomaceous earth and I put that on the ropes, so it's completely non-toxic. As I say, you can eat it, whatever, you can dance on it. Humans completely harmless, but tiny insects have their carapaces and their shells pierced by these tiny fossilised diatoms. And yeah, result basically, innit? So I've sort of cleared the bank. It's not ideal, I've got grass, islands of grass now, but it's better than nothing. I've made a gap. Although I say that the back rope's loose, once I've tightened that up, that might change things. So let's see. It all looks good with the rope loose. Let's see what happens when I tighten it. So I'm going to use that to pull us in. And check down the sides. As I pull the boat in, I'm checking down the sides. I don't think I'm going to get like a perfect setup here, insect wise. It's not going to happen. It's only 2 days, so I'll have to live with it. I'll have to live with it. Let's survey my handiwork. Look, the back end of the boat, the stern, there's loads of contact between the grass because I've had to move the things. So I'm just going to reposition this one a little bit further towards the stern to see if I can encourage the stern out a little bit. I'm never going to get this perfect, but I feel like if I can just get it, you know, the best I can, basically the best I can. So, I reckon that's as good as I'm going to get it. Very little contact, area of grass, a little bit down here. I might have another little go with the shears, but I think I've done pretty well there, actually. Little pat on the back. As I say, what about just look at this and go, you absolute nutcase, what are you doing? But when you wake up with earwigs in your bed, which happened a few times, and in your fridge, and you name it, and then when you subsequently find out that the little bastards actually bite, then, you know, you may take a different view on insect prevention, or you may not. You know, I am a massive coward, you know. I'll not make any bones about it. Absolutely, I just, not only do I sort of hate insects, you know, when they get involved with my day-to-day life anyway. They're great on David Attenborough programmes, I'm all for that. But when they get in my face, you know what I mean? Different ball game. Then I strike. I smite them without mercy. A lot of hassle this for a 2-day mooring, I've got to say. But it's an important one because I've got to get that bloody e-bike. It's, I'm finding increasingly, just out of apropos nothing, but I am finding increasingly the Brompton I'm sort of struggling with, even on roads. The roads in some of these rural towns are crap in bits. They have significant stretches of road that are just poorly maintained, rutted, potholed, and the Brompton's just a bit, you know, it just feels like it's getting battered by going over these roads. So, yeah, not only is there a road bike, the Brompton, well, in my hands anyway, it's a good, well-surfaced road bike. So that fat-tired e-bike cannot come soon enough, because, yeah, I'm bumping around on these rural roads. Feels like I'm knackering the Brompton, you know. And it's an investment, the Brompton, isn't it? You know, it's one of those things. It keeps its value for decades, some of them. It's crazy how. The 1,500 brand new, I think, you know, that kind of ballpark. There's obviously a wide range of them, but they're kind of 1.5k. And 5 years old, you can still sell them for like £1,000. It's insane. How they hold their value is ridiculous. But also good if you've got one. So this is the second thing I do. I spray a little bit of adhesive on the rope, and then I get this diatomaceous earth powder and I plonk it on like that. Just slap it all over, and that, right, completely non-toxic. That stuff will, well, it seems to have. I mean, I don't know if it bloody works or not. I haven't had any infestations. Right. In the distance there's a woman. And she must have, well, I can talk normally now because she's miles away. She must have walked right past me while I was doing my whole spiel about what I do with the ropes. I mean, I'm sure she must have known what the deal was. But look, little spray of adhesive around the thing, the fender, and just dab a little bit of powder on there. I just think every little helps, you know. They're going to walk across the top surface of the fender. That's where any enterprising insect is going to go. But yeah, that woman must have heard literally the full account well, you know, whatever the full demonstrative. I mean, I don't do a presentational style. I just do it as if I was explaining to someone standing next to me. But there you go, look, see? Little dab of, or little spray of the adhesive, and then coat the ropes. And my hope is that that is good enough to discourage any wandering insects. Like so far, you know, I went through all last summer doing this and it did seem to work. So, and I'm going to give the sides of the fender a quick go as well. There we go. None of this is foolproof, obviously. And you know, for all I know, I mean, I've never seen a dead insect that's, you know, attempted to board and just sort of gotten killed by the diatoms or whatever the spiel, but you know, I've never seen one anyway, so I don't even know that it works. And I know there's one or two spiders still lurking around, because I've seen them. I was down in the engine bay yesterday, and I disturbed a couple. But you know, it's live and let live with spiders. I've kind of, yeah, I'm okay with them now. We've come to sort of an entente. I won't say an entente cordiale, you know, to use the old sort of, what's it called, the old diplomatic thing between the pre-war allies, the entente cordiale. It wasn't that, it isn't that, but it's an entente, you know. We leave each other alone. I can't say I've had a verbal promise from them, but I think we understand each other. So there's the side of the boat, not perfect, but it's certainly reduced the contact a lot. The surface contact.